Hello everybody, Arctis here with another top 10. So it is obvious, like taunt are your first line of defense in a games such as Hearthstone, and I decided to do like the own top 10 and choose my personal top 10 best taunts in the game, which doesn't mean these must be necessary. Like taunts by themselves, it could be cards which can make non-taunt taunt or minions who can produce taunts. So I'm doing my best to choose the best one and we will see. Okay, let's do this. Number 10. Okay, I choose this guy for number 10 because, well, he's cheap and nothing too much, but for its price, it has really nice stats, and I think that's really good. If you can get this down, I know, like your first round, then it's definitely a big advantage for you. Only downside is he is relatively weak compared to other downs, and he is playable only by warlocks, so that is a little downside, but I think still it's a good down, especially if you wanted to use it for open your game, so that is why he's here. Number 9. Okay, so like I said, I don't count this card as a taunt as well, because even card itself is not taunt, it can make any other minion down, and honestly, taunts need to be durable, and this is pretty much what this card do. It can give you 4 additional hit points and a taunt status. Or if you feel confident, if you defend, then you can choose to do some improved attack instead, which is also another nice thing. Only downside of this card, and reason why isn't higher on the list, its card by itself isn't down. It's need to have at least one another minion on the battlefield, and not all other minions are good candidate for towns, unfortunately. So that is a little downside, but I think it's a still really useful card for purpose of making towns. So if you don't have any good towns, then this card is really good alternative. Number 8. And have this guy. So he by himself really isn't that much good down, but he can, except being down to himself, can give another minion down, which is really useful because it's like having 2 downs in one, but similar to Mark of the Wild, which I mentioned previously, required another minion, which is a reason why he isn't higher on the list, and his hit points probably should be better. But because it's warrior card, then you can also combine this card with this, and that is really nice combo, I think. So yes, sparring partner. Number 7, a monkey. There's a monkey. Did I say this correctly? I don't know. So yeah, I think this card for its price have perfect towns like attributes. I mean, obviously towns need to be durable, but they need a little bit of defense as well, because if you have, for example, what is it? If you have taunt like, say, this guy. I mean, sure, he has a bunch of hit points, but he has only 1 hit point, which means if you have some weak minion with a very little hit point counts, such as, say, this guy, or Light Warden, or what is it? This guy. And you can easily attack him, and if you play like for, let's say, priest, and you can even heal him, and you don't need hold back because he has just only 1 hit point. So taunts need a little bit of damage as well. Obviously, hit points are higher priority for taunts, but I think for this price, pretty much perfect stats, and I think it's probably best 3 crystal taunts. It's like if you take, where is it? Like if you take this thing and reduce its stats and make it down, like it's basically a great version of this. Yeah. Number 6, and now we have this guy. So besides he by himself being really good down, there's another ability which is nice about him, because sometimes offense is better than defense, and with this down you can be like really good with defense and you can shield yourself with it down, or you have an option, you can do like really fast attack and give him a charge, so you have more option than just being down, which I think it's nice to have this option. So yeah, Druid of the Clock. Number 5, and we have a Sunwalker. I think this one is really good down because obviously I have a Divine Shield, which means he can take really huge hits. Little downside is Divine Shield can be relatively easily like removed with let's say silence or some low damage attack, which really isn't that much difficult, but if it's like well placed, then it can be really useful because it can take lots of punishment. And yeah, Divine Shield. Number 4, and now we have this guy. Well, technically he is a lower minion than some Town Breaker, but I think he's better. He's probably one of the best Town in the game, because his stats, like in terms of resilience, are nothing amazing, but after he dies, he summons another Town, which means he is able to hold like 2 attacks back, which is like twice as much than any other towns. Like obviously some towns can be like take down with a simple hit, such as some powerful spell or attack some strong minion, but this one actually after die he summoned another town, which is like literally 2 towns in one. Only downside is still exposed something like non-damage attacks such as polymorph or silence. That's really sucked if this happened, but if he not, he is really good down, and he can be actually even better when it's combined with this dude or with this card. That make him even better. So yeah, I think he's really awesome taunt, and definitely one of the best taunt in the game. At least I think so. Number 3, what is better than taunt? Obviously, minion who can summon taunts, and that is Ogre. So he generates 2 taunts on the end of every around, and that is awesome. He's like a first legendary card which I make, at least I think so, and that is really useful. If he's placed well, he can hold your enemies like for ages, unless he's done take down with silence or some strong spell or something like this, but it can happen any card. But if your enemy don't have anything like this, then he is in big trouble. Number 2, Obsidian Destroyer. So this card is pretty much like Hogger on steroids. I mean, sure, through hits sounds are weaker than Hoggers, but only slightly. But he has something which Hogger really miss: decent durability. I mean, yeah, Hogger is a great minion, but First, you can have only one. Second, he has only 4 hit points and he can be destroyed relatively easily. And that is big weakness. Also, if he attacked, he do only 4 points damage, which also isn't too much. If you realize the stats of this minion and what he can do, I think this for this price is probably the best thing which you can ask for. He by himself can take lots of hits, and even if you don't have a taunt, he's pretty much like Psycho Taunt, which means he's drawing so much attention and enemy do his best to destroy him. So he basically acts like Taunt even if he isn't. I call this effect Psycho Taunt, and I eventually do some top 10 which will be dedicated to Psycho Taunts eventually. So you may disagree, but I think he is superior over her. He's only slightly more expensive, but he has much better stats, and I think he's better as a taunt. Number 1! Sometimes they say best options is an easier ones, and this is the reason why I choose this one. By his abilities and his stats, he have no special abilities, anything which make him unique or interested, except he is freaking like a most badass and durable taunt in a game. He can take lots of punishment and he has decent damage, so this is one of the reasons why I said taunts need some damage as well, because if you have some taunts with like 1 damage or not damage at all, then he can attack him without fear. But this time, there's some minions which you probably don't want to lose if you want to destroy this guy, so that is one thing which is really great about him. And he's actually surprisingly resilient to silence, because even if he is silenced, he just loses his taunt status. But even without that, he is still really strong minion. I mean, there is nothing special, nothing original or clever about him, but he has just highest stats. I think he is superior over all other taunts. Granted, the previous one was really close, and in terms of efficiency, what you can get for the price is probably better, but like I said, he himself isn't taunt, and his stats are smaller. So I think this taunt is definitely like best taunt in the game. Maybe I missed something, but I just saying my opinion here, and I think this one is my favorite, number 1, because no one else, no other taunts get at least close how good taunt this one is. Lots of hit points, lots of damage, taunt. What more you can ask? And I believe he's also only 8 crystal card with taunt status. I don't know if there is somebody who can go close this. I don't think so. So yes, these are my top 10 taunts in a Hearthstone. I think I can probably do some more. I already said I want to do Psycho Taunt, which is my favorite thing, which I explain eventually. I maybe can do top 10 worst taunt, because even if there is many good taunts, there is also few which are really bad, and that may be fun as well, because sometimes it's better know who is best and who is not. So yeah, that was my top 10 best taunt in Hearthstone. If you have some personal, let me know in the comments if you want, or if you disagree, that's also possible. But I did my best. I just been honest here. So as always, thanks for your time, and I will see you later.